I gotta say, everybody, I am really surprised at Microsoft because the turnaround time for my Xbox Series X being sent in, fixed, and sent back was insane. It was so fast. I just made that video like a little over a week ago, and I got my Series X back a couple days ago. I wanted to play it a little bit, make sure it was still gonna work, make sure I didn't make the video praising him, saying like, good job guys, you killed it, and then have it die immediately. So far so good. Like I said, I've had it for a couple days, was playing the new Psychonauts, downloaded a bunch of crap back onto it, and yeah, I got it really quickly. I want to give a quick timeline. I should have probably prepped this before. So getting it there only took a couple of days, which was surprising because I picked the slow option. I did not want to pay for shipping. It was like $10 for expedited shipping. I'm like, whatever, I can wait. Not a huge deal. Fine, I'll just do the free shipping. It got there in just a couple of days. And then when it got to the facility, it was there for, I think, less than a day. It was there like that. And I'll get to that in a second. And then after it left, the shipment was, the shipment information was sent to FedEx on Saturday, August 28th. And then it was picked up by FedEx the 30th. And then the 30th, it went to Tennessee. That's farther away. And then it went to Tucson on Tuesday, same day. And then it was here the next day. So it got, it was like a week. It was a whole process, took a little over a week. And I gotta say, that is amazing. Now, the thing is when you get your Xbox back, you're like, well, what the hell did they do to it? Because, I mean, most people don't care. Does it work? If it works, people don't care. I wanted to know because I make videos and I wanted to document the whole process. So I stuck to my word and I looked at this piece of paper they sent me and it's completely worthless. It just says your Xbox is ready. Here's what we did. We made sure the HDMI port, SSD, fan, Ethernet, optical disk drive, all these different things. Okay, it's got a whole checklist right here like they do when you put your car in. Like, we did the 50 billion point checklist. Cool, but it doesn't tell you anywhere on the sheet of paper what they did to it. It just says how to reconnect your Xbox, how to reset it up, how to whatever, and then it says the same thing over and over and over in like 4 different languages. So that wasn't helpful. I looked at this. This is the commercial invoice. And by the way, I learned something else. They spent $56. They spent $56 to ship this to me as quickly as they did. Holy crap. I mean, that's awesome. That's awesome. And again, I did not pay for shipping. I did not pick the expedited option. They did. They just chose to. I don't know why, but I'm not complaining. But again, that doesn't tell me anything. It just tells me about the shipping. So I called the Microsoft support line. I call them. They're like, what did you need help with? How can we get you back to gaming? I'm like, well, I'm already back to gaming. I got my Xbox back. It works just fine. But what did you guys do to it? I'm like, what? I want to know what you guys did to my system to fix it. And they're like, well, we don't really handle that in our customer help hotline. In fact, we don't really get people asking this question. They just usually go, Xbox works, good to go. Which, like I said in the beginning, right? I mean, that's what most people do. They don't care. Then they forward me over to the actual facility that fixes these things. And a guy picks up and is immediately talking in just Spanish. And I'm like, habla inglés? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Okay. I was calling because I wanted to know what you guys did with my console. He's like, what? Can you tell me what you guys did to my system? Like if you fixed it or if you just completely replaced it? And he's like, well, yeah. So I gave him my case number. He looked it up and he's like, oh, we did a complete console replacement. So what that means is my console arrived. They looked at it, went, oh, that shit's fucked. And then they just got me a new one and shipped it along. And that's why it was like, boom. However, this is where things get a little weird, especially in my case. This is probably going to be a rare thing. I'm like, well, the thing is, that's cool that I got a new system. My serial number is exactly the same. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, my serial number on my console is the same serial number as the console I sent in. And he's like, well, that doesn't make sense. So he looked at the case and he's like, huh, you're not wrong. That's exactly what we have here too. We have the same serial number coming in and the same serial number going out. even though they have it written down in the notes that they got me a brand new system. And when I looked at my Xbox, when I looked at the serial number, because I wanted to compare it to the box, it said it was serviced on August 27th, 21. So what the hell? Does that mean they just printed out? Because that's the whole serial number. Like, that's one solid sticker that says, you know, serviced, and then the serial number is attached to that whole thing. It's a whole strip. So it looks like they just took my old serial number and put it on a new system. I don't know if that's what happened, because the guy on the other end was like, well, that could be an error. I don't understand. This doesn't make any sense to me. I've never seen this before. So long story short, I have a new system, but the same serial number, which is still covered under a warranty for 4 more months. And he's like, well, I mean, as long as the Xbox is working, you're good to go. You know, this is weird, but whatever, I guess. I guess I have to agree. And it does seem new in the fact that, I mean, I guess they might have wiped it there, but I had to reinstall everything and to reset up the whole thing from the very beginning. So who knows? Who knows? Unfortunately. But I'm just going to stick with that guess that they just printed out my old serial number and put it on a new system, because that's basically what the notes said. But besides that weird little hiccup, I'm incredibly happy with how well Microsoft handled that. I mean, it was so fast. It didn't take months, and I got a console back that works. Whereas I've seen horror stories in the past of people getting their consoles back, either a PlayStation or Xbox, and it still doesn't work. So I'm really happy that A, got a working console, B, it's probably brand new, and C, they spent $50 to get this thing to me as quickly as they could. That's awesome. That's so cool. And the fact that they actually humored me in this question that they didn't have to answer. They didn't have to answer what they did to my system. They never get that call. The guy seemed completely shocked that I was even talking to him. He's like, what? Nobody calls here. Nobody cares. If you get your working Xbox, it's working. They go back to playing video games. But I wanted to know, and there you go. I had this weird situation, so unfortunately, mine might not be the same situation you have. You might not get a brand new one with the same serial number, but hey, if you do, for the love of God, come back to this video and comment if you had the same thing happen, or if you know of somebody who has had this happen, because I would love to hear it. I want to know I'm not the only person and I'm not losing my mind here. Maybe that's the new standard. Maybe they just go, oh, this system's completely screwed up. Let's just scrap it. I don't know. Maybe it was just completely unrepairable. But I still don't know what broke about it. That's the thing that really messes me up, is what in the world died in this system? A lot of people were saying that video, it might be the power supply, but I don't know. It just wouldn't turn on. It was just dead. It was working one day, dead the next. There was no lead up. There was nothing. So I would love to know what in the world died in that system, and if we're going to have more people like that. But I guess as long as they keep that service up and that speed, who cares? You know, as long as I'm not having to get a new Xbox Series X every 8 months. So like I said, please let me know if you've had the same scenario ever happen, even with like the Xbox One, not just the Series X, or any system. Let me know if you've had that same weird serial number carryover, and yet it's a new system, because I've never heard of that sort of thing happening before. Subscribe for more content, and have a fantastic day. See you, everybody.